Hello everybody, we're the film lovers, Alex and Vince. We're talking about the highly regarded classic, Pulp Fiction.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
So,
yeah.
Anyway,
No, it's yeah.
Yeah. So, when was your first introduction to this movie?
A friend recommended it to me.
Was it Eric?
Yeah.
Eric.
Eric's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
We've referenced him in the Dream Theater video,
Yeah.
and nobody really knows who he is,
Yeah.
but he's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he recommended it to me because he thought I'd like it.
And how old were you, probably?
I was probably in 9th grade.
Okay.
9th or 10th, maybe.
Yeah.
So, and this movie is a movie that made me become a film lover, and no, made me be, into films.
Yeah.
This was the movie that made me feel like, oh my God, movies can be art, and movies can move you, and movies can
Excite you.
You can excite you. You can discuss a movie in for hours with another friend. A good movie, obviously. Bad movies, not really, but although they have their own charm, I guess. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, it's a big movie for me. I've always loved it.
Was it your first Quentin Tarantino movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Reservoir Dogs. So.
Okay.
After that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Eric, our friend Eric, got me into movies. So that's what made me become a film lover. Because the name. Yeah. So same question?
I mean, you recommended it to me.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, and you let me borrow it.
Oh, that's right. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, I was probably in 10th grade, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had a similar kind of revelation where I'm like, movies can be this.
Yeah.
Like, movies are capable.
Was it this movie or another movie?
This was one of them. If it wasn't the first one, it was one of them.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely made me appreciate movies on a whole nother level. So,
yeah.
So it came out in '94. It's Tarantino's second movie after Reservoir Dogs. John Travolta had a resurgence because of this.
His career was in a slum.
Yeah, totally.
Luckily for John Travolta, Quentin Tarantino, I think, actually was a big fan of his work.
Yeah,
and that's why he put him in.
Right.
It's the best Uma Thurman, I guess, besides Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. But it's the best film she ever has done, and I'm sure she'll ever do.
Yeah, probably.
Her career is kind of a slump. Other than her Quentin Tarantino contributions or work, she's not she hasn't been in very good movies.
No.
So, yeah, all the performances are really good. The other thing about this, talking about revelations while watching it, how you could play with time and point of view.
Yes.
And all that stuff was fascinating. That was, I remember first watching it and going, oh my God, they're going back to what we saw in the beginning with the diner scene.
I love you, Pumpkin.
I love you, honey bunny. Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every one of you motherfuckers!
And I just thought that was so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how characters, they'll tell a story and then they'll go back. I remember the opening, they go to get the suitcase, all that. And then after the whole thing with Uma Thurman and her overdosing and all that, we went to Bruce Willis. And then I just thought it was fascinating that John Travolta gets shot in the Bruce Willis story.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, so no more John Travolta. Little did I know. Then they go back to tell the Bonnie situation. And I just thought that was so cool. And then all of a sudden, now we're seeing this whole other story unfold from a different point of view, where Bruce Willis also overlaps when he's in the bar.
Yeah.
After they change into those goofy clothes.
Right. After
Remember
shooting
that?
Marvin in the face.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Yeah, how they all overlap.
Yeah.
And then the opening being the diner scene where they're talking about robbing a diner, which is pretty bizarre idea, and robbing everybody in there. And, you know, kind of throughout you're wondering why was that the opening or whatever. And then when it comes back, I just was like, this is brilliant. Because it all of a sudden hit me, oh, this is what we saw in the beginning. And, you know, keep in mind, I mean, I was pretty new to those type of movies, you know what I mean, at that time. So to me, that was pretty awesome that they did that, you know. The diner scene is now, at the end, changes point of view to Samuel L. Jackson's character and John Travolta's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And they happen to be in the diner when the robbery happens. So. And I've always liked Samuel L. Jackson's speech at the end.
The truth is, you're the weak, and I am the tyranny of evil men. But I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
Yes.
Where he's kind of trying to go straight at this point. He felt that when they go to get the suitcase, the gunshots missing them, he took that as some kind of like sign from God that, you know, this is his chance to go straight, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what that speech is all about, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it for me. From here on in, you can consider my ass retired.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that's, you know, something that hit me, you know.
Yeah.
So what were we going to say?
I mean, the dialogue and the music
are
trademark Tarantino.
Yep.
Dialogue, I mean, right from the start, like the whole thing with, and when you think about some of the dialogue, it's not particularly interesting, but it's the way it's delivered or the way
it's so realistic.
It's just so realistic.
I think that was the other thing watching, even the first time. I just thought, this is so, like... Real. Not for 1 second do I think these are actors reciting lines. And that was amazing, you know. Very, very well written dialogue.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But the music, too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not... That's the thing about Tarantino, of course. I think everybody knows who's watched his movies. He doesn't have original scores. Like, at all.
Yeah.
I don't think. Almost just about all of it is stuff that he is a fan of, and he just gets the rights to use it in his movies. I mean...
Yeah.
It's just that simple, you know what I mean? He likes the music and he puts it in.
Yep.
So, I actually, I bought the soundtrack. I was so happy with the music.
I know, yeah.
You know, and the images are so closely tied to the music that, like, when I listen to the album, I'm, like, playing the movie.
Yeah, you always remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the non-linear storyline is genius.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. You know, do you have a favorite story of the stories?
The best way to describe it, I would say the best stories are with John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. Their story.
What about the one with John Travolta and Uma Thurman?
That's probably my favorite.
Okay.
Did you just order a $5 shake?
Mm-hmm.
That's a shake. That's milk and ice cream.
Last I heard.
That's $5. You don't put bourbon in or nothing?
No.
But then the second would be the stuff with him and Samuel L. Jackson. My least favorite is the Bruce Willis story.
I know that, yeah.
I think that girl is super annoying. The girlfriend, she starts to irritate.
No, imbecile, what was your dream about? Well, let's look at the grumpy man in the morning. Get up, easy bones.
God.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, the one, oh, I forgot to watch.
That
and
that
it's like,
part,
are you fucking
yes,
kidding
that
me?
I was genuinely frustrated with Bruce Willis's character and,
Yeah.
and just how she responds.
That's what I'm
She
saying.
almost acts like a child.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
that little stuff irritated me.
Then I did.
You sure?
No.
And just to me, it's not a bad story. It's just out of all the stories, it's just the least interesting to me. Not a bad story.
No.
I still watch it and like it,
Uh-huh.
but it's my least favorite out of the stories. That's,
But that
that's
storyline does have one of the most like iconic scenes.
Zed's or
Yeah.
Zed's dead or no,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to remember.
I mean, when they get raped, basically.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
it's very weird.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not
such
what you expect.
It's such a turn for the weird. You know, it's like.
Yeah, I always remember Marcellus Wallace is like, I'm about to get medieval on your ass.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I always remember that line.
Right.
You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? I ain't through with you by damn sight. I'ma get medieval on your ass.
And I remember him saying, get the fuck out of here. You'll never speak about this again.
Right.
That kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing, you know.
Right. I also do think it's suspenseful with Bruce Willis' story when he's trying to get back to his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a long take, but we follow him like walking, like taking all these precautions to avoid anybody
yeah.
or,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yep.
I thought that was genuinely suspenseful.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's
it was
true.
Like, what is going to happen here? And then, of
Sure.
course, it has a big twist in John Travolta getting killed. And you're
Well,
like,
yeah, you
damn,
don't
you're like,
expect.
whoa,
Yeah, you don't
know?
expect that. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yep.
know.
Interesting thing with that, they say all bad stuff happens when John Travolta goes to the bathroom.
Yes.
I don't know what that means or why that's in there. It's just an interesting idea or thought.
Well, you know who else had the same thing happen too?
Who?
With Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, really?
In his movies,
Uh-huh.
like almost every one of his movies where there's a scene in the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
something bad happens right afterwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
It could just be a coincidence. I mean,
Yeah, I
it would
don't
be
know.
A weird thing to like structurally like set up, like, you know.
It's got to have a meaning almost. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It almost doesn't make sense. Yeah, I mean, obviously he dies in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom when she ODs, and he's in the bathroom while the robbery happens in the diner. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the three things. In
Yeah.
case people even cared, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And then there's always the controversy of what was in the briefcase.
We happy? Vincent! We happy?
Yeah, we happy.
Which isn't important.
It's really not. It's what they call
A MacGuffin.
Yeah, Hitchcock came up with this, a MacGuffin, which is pretty much nothing really, but it's what motivates the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But the audience shouldn't care. You know, it could be anything.
Right.
Like in North by Northwest, it was film. We don't know what's on the film. We don't know anything about it, but it's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a MacGuffin, pretty much.
Yeah.
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 So it's you know, a lot of things center around it, you know, and getting it and retrieving it and the importance of it, but we'll never know what it is.
So you like all the performances though?
Yeah.
Even Uma Thurman.
Yeah, I really like her.
Okay.
Yeah. In this movie.
Yeah.
You had a problem with her performance? I think she was pretty good. I don't think
No,
it's a bad performance in this movie.
No, I don't think so. I love Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
You know, he does a cool role, like a cool job. You know,
Wolf, Mr. Wolf.
The Wolf, yeah.
Mr. Whatever.
Whatever.
I'm Mr. Wolf. I solve problems.
Good, we got one.
So I heard.
Even what's his name? Quentin Tarantino has a little cameo.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. He does a good job, actually, though.
He does,
for
yeah.
that character.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's, you know, does a good job. So
Yeah, I used to be able to impersonate that scene, his like delivery. I don't think I can still do it, but
yeah, yeah. I was trying to think.
Fucking divorce.
Yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. He's like, you know what would happen if fucking Bonnie came home right now? I'd be fucking divorced.
Yeah.
Okay?
I love it how he's saying that, and then it shows, what
Bonnie
happened.
and
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And then it cuts back to
Yeah.
I know.
I think that's cool that
Yeah.
they do that.
Just interesting choices by him, directing wise.
Yeah.
Like I just thought of when you reminded me of when she goes, "Don't be such a square," but it makes a
Rectangle?
circle. No, I think it makes it like a circle.
No, it's a rectangle.
Don't be a...
Oh, after you, kitty cat.
Whatever, but it's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
I also think it's cool when they dance because it's like
Yeah.
John Travolta was known as being a dancer,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of cool that they were able to figure out
Yes.
a point in the story where he actually does dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah. It's and it's an iconic scene now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Um.
And of course, it has Steve Buscemi playing a waiter, which is funny
yeah.
because it's kind of a joke. Because in the previous movie, Reservoir Dogs, he says he doesn't tip waiters.
I know.
Right.
It's an in joke.
Yeah, it's an in joke. So
Yeah.
it's funny that yeah.
Yep.
So, and that restaurant always looked really cool. Like if that was a real thing. Is it a real thing? Like did they end up doing something like that ever?
They do restaurants that are 50s themed. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably not to that extent. That's really hardcore. Like they go to great lengths.
Well, like you sit in cars and stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
no, not quite like that. But there are. In fact, there was one near me. I think he closed. It's called Ruby's Diner.
Oh, it closed? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that had a 50s theme
Yeah,
to it.
definitely. Definitely.
I think it closed. I don't know.
Okay.
So.
Do you have so your least favorite story is the Bruce Willis one?
Yep.
Okay.
What about you?
Least
do you
favorite?
have a favorite or a least favorite, or do you like them all?
Probably my favorite is the whole storyline with John Travolta and Uma Thurman. Just that whole
when
situation.
I remember that scene. Even when I would watch it again and again, I don't know. It's just so heart pounding.
You mean with the adrenaline?
Just the whole thing. When he comes out of the bathroom, he's like, "Oh my God," you know. And then it cuts to him in the car. He's like, "Don't you fucking die on me, Mia." Mia.
Don't fucking die on me, Mia!
You know.
Mia
And
Wallace.
he's like, "Oh fuck me," you know,
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
this sucks."
Yeah.
And then
Got this chick, she's fucking ODing on me.
Well, don't bring her here. I'm not even fucking joking with you, man. Do not be bringing some fucked up poop out to my house.
No choice.
just the whole thing, you know, Eric Stoltz, I think is the drug
Eric
dealer.
Stoltz plays the drug dealer, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Don't come to my house right now."
Yeah.
And he's
is
like,
this a cell phone?
No,
Is
it's
this
a prank phone call. Prank phone call. Does
Yeah.
he say something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then next thing he knows, there's like he bashes through.
Yes.
He's
The
like,
house.
"Oh, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
So
if
just the chaos of it gets to me every time in a good way. And then, of course, the famous adrenaline shots.
Now you mentioned that the Bruce Willis's girlfriend was annoying. I kind of found Eric Stoltz's wife or girlfriend kind of annoying.
Gotcha.
Actually.
Yeah.
I didn't think she acted badly. I just think when she's like yelling, like, "Where's the book? Where's the book?" or "I can't fucking find it," or whatever.
Yeah,
It kind of. I understand everevery's harried and everybody's like freaking out.
Yeah.
But she just kind of got a little annoying.
Black medical book.
What are you looking for?
A little black fucking medical book. It's like a textbook they give to nurses.
I never saw no medical book.
Well, trust me, I have one.
Well, if it's so important, why didn't you keep with the shot?
I don't know. Stop bothering me.
Gotcha.
But,
Gotcha.
I do like the scene too where he goes to Eric Stoltz's house and they're having that conversation about the cocaine or the heroin, right? Again, just good dialogue.
Yeah, just good.
You know,
It just feels like you're a fly on the wall.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this, low life kind of life.
Now I like the whole thing how he says somebody keyed his car. You know,
Yeah,
and of
yeah,
course
it's
we
just
we pretty much know who that was.
What do you mean?
Bruce Willis.
Oh.
That's what I always I thought was insinuated that Bruce Willis was the one who did it because they have that conversation. Remember, he says Pollock.
Oh,
he basically
yeah.
says he basically disses him
Yeah.
at the bar.
Yes,
And he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"What's your problem?"
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And I always figured it was him.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't think that.
That's what I always figured. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm surprised you didn't think that way.
No.
Yeah.
It never seemed like that significant to me.
No, it's-
But
But if you think about it that way, it's kind of
It's kinda cool,
It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yup.
So, I think Ving Rhames does a good job. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He's
It's
always
probably
reliable.
his most well-known movie.
Yeah.
Except maybe wasn't he in the Mission Impossible movies or something?
I think he was in Green Mile too, which was a big.
No,
one.
no, he wasn't. That was Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else he was in. I don't know, but yeah.
I think one of the Mission Impossible movies or something.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a pretty reliable kind of character actor, I guess. More.
Yeah. Yeah. You think? What do you think of? Do you think there's any deeper meaning to this movie beyond the fact that Samuel L. Jackson thinks he has this epiphany that he needs to give up his life and change his ways and basically walk the earth?
You're saying as far as like subliminal themes or
subliminal
undercurrent
themes
of like yeah.
Because I have heard some pretty compelling arguments, like that Rob Ager dude. I think
Yeah.
he did an analysis of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pretty interesting. You know what I mean?
What's some of that stuff?
I can't really remember,
Oh.
but there was some stuff tied to that Bible verse that he says that's not totally real, but
It's not a real Bible verse.
not totally.
No.
It's based off something, and then it was written more, but and also the suitcase is supposed to be some kind of symbolic thing.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Well, yeah. There's been a lot of theories about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the movie operates great as is. I mean, that's, it has lots of style.
Yeah, there was
lots
some
of-
interesting stuff. People don't know Rob Ager has a YouTube channel, but he also sells
DVDs of.
Yeah, he does it. Yeah, on his website. I think it's collectivelearning.com, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of his website.
Mhm.
But he does deep. I mean, really deep, in depth analysis on movies. Sometimes things you wouldn't even think. But
His whole thing on The Shining is fascinating, I thought.
he does The Shining. Yeah, he does a lot of Kubrick films. He's done some Hitchcock. He's done some John
Did
Carpenter.
he do Vertigo?
Yes.
Did John Carpenter? He did The Thing, right?
Yeah.
The Thing analysis actually was pretty cool too.
He also did a 30-minute analysis on Halloween.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It's interesting. I have it. I bought it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I bought a couple of them. I bought Vertigo, which is a newer one. It came out probably last year.
How long is it?
The Vertigo?
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half, I think.
Okay.
An hour and something.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah. He did a Psycho analysis, which was actually really interesting.
Cool. So yeah, do you think there's any deeper meaning?
I
in this
remember
movie?
specifically now, my memory's jogged. He mentioned about Bruce Willis and his dad being in Vietnam, and how when he goes back to the apartment, it's shot in a way like it is Vietnam. He's going through like almost a jungle-esque spot going into the apartment. You can hear a helicopter overhead. Not really, but it's supposed to be sort of like a throwback to Vietnam. That's what his
Christopher Walken too. That
was
scene,
interesting, yeah.
That scene's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of actually funny.
In a weird way.
He talks
yeah.
about it, and then you're like, what? And then he's like, I had this thing shoved up my ass.
I know he gets like angry,
Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
like
yeah.
resentful. Like,
Yeah, I
you
know. I know.
I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years. Then, after 7 years, I was sent home to my family.
So, lean into more towards me.
Oh, sorry.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm getting off camera.
Okay. Do you think there's a weak scene in this movie? I mean, is there any scene that you can think of that's like?
No, not. I mean, no. I mean, it's a pretty perfect movie.
Now,
the only thing that I guess it would lack, like we sometimes enjoy and talk about, like deeper meaning, like some of the Kubrick.
Yeah, it's a lot of
films.
style, and there is content. There's the dialogue, if
Yeah.
you will, although you
Yeah.
can consider that part of the style.
Although I guess some people do consider there's deeper levels to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing I can necessarily pick up on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, a lot of people know about this, I think, but this lost the Best Picture award to
What?
Forrest Gump.
Whoa. Oh, that's right. That's right. I knew
Yes.
that. I forgot. But yeah,
That's
bad.
That's bad.
Yeah, because you're ignoring a much more original movie.
Yes. Now, for the record, I do like Forrest
I know
Gump.
you do. I know.
I do like it.
To be fair, I have never seen it. It's in its entirety, so
Okay.
I can't.
But yeah, I mean, it just shows you how little of a clue the Academy Awards.
Mm-hmm. Has Quentin Tarantino ever won?
Best Picture?
Yeah. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was one to do it, that would be the one.
That's his peak. I mean,
That
not
is his-
peak.
well, it
I mean,
is.
I don't know if that's the wrong word though, because he's a very consistent director.
He's a very consistent.
It's his, what do you call it, magnum opus, I
Magnum
guess,
opus,
his masterpiece, his film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's signature Tarantino stuff.
Signature,
Stuff
yeah.
that would be trademarked,
I mean, from a dialogue perspective, he never
Definitely.
quite reached those heights again.
No, I mean, Pulp Fiction's almost a near perfect film.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I really can't find a fault with it.
No. I know.
You know?
Can't either. Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I would imagine it's hard to top that. So.
Yeah.
But he's never he's never been a letdown to the point. Maybe except for, is it Death Proof that he did, or the other one?
Death Proof.
Death Proof. Maybe that would be his biggest letdown in his career. But otherwise, he's been generally consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a favorite of mine. I've seen it a lot. It's also a good film that doesn't get boring with repeat viewings. Like you enjoy it more and more every time.
I know there's little things you pick up on.
Yep.
It's just, yeah.
Yep, it's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think John Travolta's. Also, we were talking about that Uma Thurman later.
Well, that's the best movie he was ever in.
That's what I'm saying.
It's also the best movie pretty much that everybody was ever in.
Yeah, Bruce Willis too. Yeah, we were just talking about him earlier.
Except Harvey Keitel was in
Well, he's
Taxi
been in,
Driver.
Yeah, but he's been in other stuff that's pretty good.
Yeah. Although he doesn't have a big role in Taxi Driver, but
not really. But
pretty much everybody involved, though, it was their best movie.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this, to be fair though, this was co-written by somebody else, correct? It wasn't all Quentin Tarantino.
I
think the Bruce Willis segment was, in particular,
was an added
was
thing by somebody else.
wrote it. That makes sense. Written by somebody else.
Okay.
And I'm blanking on the name.
Yeah. Because almost all of his other movies, he is the single writer.
Was it? I want to say Robert Rodriguez.
What, in Pulp Fiction? No, I don't think so. I don't think they really knew each other at that point yet.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, they did do, what do you call it together, right? Dusk Till Dawn?
I think
but that was
so.
like a few years later.
Um,
Robert Rodriguez directed and Tarantino acted in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm probably wrong about that. But it is interesting to note, I think Quentin Tarantino overshadows the fact that it was co-written by somebody else, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, whoever it was, they did a good job too, I think. I mean...
Well, yeah.
You know. But it is notable to mention that somebody else was involved with the writing.
Yeah, because, you know, people don't think of that.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So. You would say this is his best movie, right?
Yeah, it's his best movie.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, dude?
It might not be my favorite, though.
What's your favorite?
I don't know,
Save
man.
for another day.
Well, we're already...
I know,
talked about his filmography a little bit, right?
I'm just kidding, I know.
You know, I mean, I think Kill Bill is a lot of fun.
Okay.
As one movie together, I
Yeah.
think they're just a lot of fun.
Now, I always thought Volume 2 was better, but
Yeah.
do you think
I
so?
agree. I agree. Yeah.
Forget this.
What's wrong?
Who wrote Pulp Fiction?
Pulp Fiction's story was written by Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avary.
Okay.
Roger Avery.
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 I think they misspelled it.
I'm not familiar with him.
I'm not either. I don't know why I thought Robert Rodriguez. I just thought there's a connection with them, so I just thought.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's interesting to note. I don't know if he did anything else, but that's. I was sort of surprised when I found that out, because all his other works, I think, was exclusively written and directed by him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we go, I want to ask you, what do you think of the controversy surrounding, specifically, well, we're going to probably talk about Reservoir Dogs later, so I'll ignore that. Pulp Fiction possibly being stolen, like some of the ideas and stuff.
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
The path of the righteous man and defender is beset on all sides by the inequity of selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness.
I'm gonna call a couple of hard, pipe-hitting niggas, go to work on the homes here.
Strip you naked and go to work on you with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. Oh my God.
You have to get through the breastplate into her heart, all right? And then once you do that, press down on the plunger.
Look it up. Measure down. Measure down like 2 or 3 ribs. Got a magic marker. Magic marker where her heart was.
In particular, that passage was taken from another movie.
That Samuel L. Jackson quotes.
Mm-hmm. And why that's notable is it's not a real Bible verse, so
yeah,
it's weird, you know.
The other thing that
there's
I've
a couple
seen,
of other things that were taken, I think, or supposedly. I don't know if it's true or not, but
Well-
it does seem like an odd coincidence that some of this stuff.
Well, there's the scene with Ving Rhames where he gets the shock. You know, after he basically gets saved by Bruce Willis's character, the whole medieval on your ass, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's from a movie.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
where basically the guy says the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
I feel like, was there anything more that was supposedly?
There was
a couple
other
of
stuff.
things that
I
just
can't
sprinkled
think of
throughout that seemed too coincidental to be just coincidence.
I mean,
I guess you could say it's an homage or a tribute.
The only movie where I think it gets out of control
is Reservoir.
Is Reservoir Dogs.
Yes, I mean it's almost plot
such a
by
blatant
plot.
rip off.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
we'll talk about that when
yeah.
we talk about it.
Yeah.
That's always interested me though that's been a thing with him, at least with his first 2 films.
Yeah.
That he may or may not have lifted ideas from these other movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, just was curious what you thought about it.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me that much. With
I think Pulp Fiction. I feel like there's even a suitcase kind of thing that they took.
Yeah, you're right. I think there is something somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
They have videos on YouTube if you're interested, I think.
They kind of break it down.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, there's not much more you can say about it, right?
No, I mean, it's definitely a classic.
Classic.
One of the best movies of the 90s.
One of the best movies of all time, I think.
One of the best movies of all time, but one of the best movies of the 90s in particular.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, that's not much more to say.
That's about it. So hope you liked it, guys. Please subscribe and like.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see you next time.
See ya.